Going on YouTube, Cloverbell's here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and we're back in Showdown for another team building session. And today we're going to be looking at another Paradox Pokemon, and that one is going to be Ironcrown. So this was another one that was widely requested along with Walking Wake, just for another team building video, of course. But Ironcrown's an interesting one just because of some of the tools that it can give you, as well as its bulk and, an interesting speed tier of 98. And then Steel Psychic typing, of course, think of Metagross in that sense, but this is now like a special attacker. So let's just look at like all of its stats for a second. 90 HP is okay, a little bit above average. 100 defense, 108 special defense. That's very good bulk. All right, 122 special attack. That's a very good number for in terms of like damage, and then 98 speed. A little unfortunate because you're slower than Entei, you're slower than Chi-Yu, and you're slower than Landorus Incarnate. All three things that you're weak to, but all things that are weak to water, right? So you would probably imagine that we're gonna have a water type on this team, and of course we will. All right, but in terms of like steel typing, you're weak to dark types, along with the fire types that we did mention, as of course we're gonna have resistances to all these things. Cork Drive. So, again, no electric terrain here, but what we can do is give this thing a booster energy. So this way, you're at least able to get a stat raise in what is going to be special attack. We're going to go modest here. All right. And then, just in terms of like EV spreads here, we don't have to do anything too complicated as of right now. We can EV to live certain things, and we could, okay, but at least for the get-go, I want to just keep things relatively standard, and I'll tell you what that means in a second. But I do want to go Terra Blast, Terra Water here, just because, again, that's just going to give you something against some of these fire types and, remove some of your weaknesses altogether, all the while keeping Expanding Force Pressure, and, of course, the other special attack, the move that it does get is called Tachyon Cutter. So, with Expanding Force, again, strong Psychic Stab, just think about, like, Hatterene getting that back now. Think of, Armarouge, of course, with the Life Orb idea, and how strong Expanding Force is in Psychic Terrain. Now Ironcrown gets access to that, and it's super bulky. Then you add Tachyon Cutter, which is great against stuff like Chenpao, because Focus Sash is just irrelevant now because you're able to just remove that entirely. And then, it's a two-hit move. And then Terra Blast, Terra Water, again, very good against Entei, very good against Chi-Yu, very good against Lando-I. Even Incineroar doesn't want to have to deal with Terra Blast, Terra Water. And if they are impish as opposed to careful, this can pick up the Incineroars. So that's the other benefit of going Terra Blast, Terra Water on Ironcrown here. So in terms of like how do we strengthen the viability and the uses of Ironcrown, just think about it. Look, Expanding Force, we need Psychic Terrain. I can't think of a better Pokemon to add onto this team than Indeedee, right? This is always going to be a starting point, no matter what kind of Ironcrown team you make. And then from here, you have two directions where you want to take the team, okay? You can do the standard Trick Room route where you're just supporting, with stuff like, Torkoal, and then something like, the Ursaluna for like physical damage. Okay, and then in addition to Torkoal, you can go something like Lilligant, right? And then this gives you like another fast mode to the team. You can definitely do something like this, all right? And then just round it out with something like a Flutter Mane, for example, right? So that's totally doable, okay? Or we can do a different way, and let's actually go with a more aggressive, hyper offensive mode, okay? And that means we're going with Tornadus here. And the reason why this works is because if you look at the speed tier, 98 is pretty good, but it's not good enough, okay? And we need a little bit of help, and Tornadus does help us in that sense with the Tailwind idea. And like I said, we did need some water coverage here, because not only is Ironcrown weak to fire types, but you're also weak to dark types in general, so you're gonna need some fighting coverage as well. So if you need a water fighting type Pokemon, I can't think of something else better than Urshifu-Rapid Strike. And this just makes sense altogether, because now you have an alternate mode here with Tornadus Urshifu along with Indeedee Ironcrown. And then we have seen a familiar core in terms of rounding out this three right here, sans the Ironcrown. If you just add the Chi-Yu and the Flutter Mane here, and now all of a sudden we have a ton of pressure on this hyper aggressive team. And now, you can also go like Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane leads. That does a ton of pressure against those Latias teams. Those Latias teams are going to have their hands full with Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane leads. Okay, and then you could just bring in stuff like Indeedee from the back. We saw this from Volvo Maxpen, if you remember. you know, the regionals in Latin America, where, you know, Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane, supported with Indeedee, you know, Psychic Terrain, just to remove priority stuff. That's going to be great because these two are generally like pretty fast already, and then they're going to do a ton of damage. And then you bring in Ironcrown in the end game along with Indeedee. You know, you have to break through the Indeedee, and maybe you use a lot of your resources already just to break through the Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane stuff. And now, you know, you don't have anything left for expanding force spam. So Psyspam in the back in the end game is really, really strong. You can also technically do Ironcrown Indeedee leads, you know, with Tornadus in the back. So this way, you know, you're just spamming expanding force, and then at the end of the day, you can bring in the Tailwind user, click Tailwind expanding force. That's going to be really strong as well. And then maybe even switch into Chi-Yu, do even more damage with expanding force, right? So there's a lot of special attack damage coming here. The Urshifu is just here for like the Incineroar cleanups, and even something against like King Gambit for that matter. But like you have a ton of pressure here from Flutter Mane and Chi-Yu anyway. So, you know, some games you don't even bring the Urshifu, right? Which is actually kind of crazy. But, you know, it just gives you another option to play in games 2 and games 3 if you're going to use this in tournament play. Now, we did make this team. We gave it to a viewer. They went 17-1 on ladder. That is insane. I didn't think it was 17-1 good, but, you know, he also took it to a room tour on Showdown, and he won the room tour, so I figured, okay, it's time for the video. Like, I don't need any more evidence and proof than that, so let's go ahead and do it. So, you know, after this Indeedee, so we just went with Citrus Berry here. You can go stuff like Safety Goggles and Rocky Helmet here, depending on how you want to play the Indeedee. But the item is totally up to you. For the sake of the video, I just put Citrus Berry here. Then, of course, we have Follow Me. We have Dazzling Gleam. We have Helping Hand. And Trick Room just gives another mode to the squad, you know, against the mirror matchups where, you know, maybe they're just a little bit faster. And then you have something to click into those Trick Room games, as well as flip Trick Room teams upside their head. You know, if they click for Trick Room, you can go for your own Trick Room as well. So that was the benefit there. And it came up handy in a lot of games, you know, that we gave our viewer, just to be able to flip up those Tailwind turns up upside their head. And then over here, like, again, just standard stuff, Bleak Wind Storm, Rain Dance, then Protect here again. Covert Cloak with Terra Ghost. And again, you know, I just to keep our bases covered, you know, I always get this question in like every other team building video. The whole idea when you have Covert Cloak and Terra Ghost is this. Yes, I understand, you know, a little redundant in terms of resisting fake out, but that's not what it's for. So this is just for those speed drops, you know, something like Icy Wind, something like Bleak Wind Storm, you know, that's gonna stop those drops altogether. And of course the fake out stuff. Then over here, the Terra Ghost, this is meant for surviving the Dragonite E-Speed shenanigans, okay? And as well as Entei E-Speed, Hisuian Arcanine E-Speed, anything E-Speed, you know, or Sucker Punch, that kind of thing. This is what we, not Sucker Punch, I'm sorry, E-Speed, right? That's what we want here with the Terra Ghost. That's the whole benefit there, all right? Then from here, again, Terra Fairy is going to be pretty good. That's good against dark types, all right? Then the Urshifu, of course. Now you can go, you know, the Mystic Scarf, the Mystic Water item, or the Choice Scarf item. I think both are very, very good. For our purposes, we went with Mystic Water. I wanted a little bit more damage, so it's just a very standard set here with Surging Strikes, Close Combat, and of course Aqua Jet here. Then the Flutter Mane, I went with Choice Specs, right? Because we have the booster energy over there. So, and then this is also Icy Wind, another form of speed control. So you have Tailwind, you have Trick Room, you have Icy Wind. So that's 3 ways of maintaining speed control, and that's what I kind of like about this team and why I was able to do so well thus far, is you have multiple ways of getting speed control, which is important in VGC, right? Then you have the Chi-Yu here. So the thing is with Chi-Yu on this type of team, I liked Sash, right? Just having a Sash Chi-Yu here just to preserve its longevity along with Protect was actually huge in terms of what we wanted it to do. And now we have Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, and Snarl. So Snarl is also really, really good against some of these other special attackers. Think Arcaludon, think, you know, Raging Bolt, maybe even opposing Ironcrown. These are all things, or another Flutter Mane Chi-Yu. These are all things that don't want to take special attack reduction. So, you know, in that sense, that was also pretty good because, you know, this team doesn't really need necessarily Intimidate because we're just so hyper aggressive. So Snarl spam was very, very useful, you know, in the grand scheme of things. Another Terra Ghost idea, you know, just dodging fake out stuff. Of course, very, very standard. So this was the 6 that we used, okay? And I liked it. It had a lot of good tools. It has a lot of different leads, lots of different endgame scenarios, okay? And it's almost like a 2-2-2 team, right? Indeedee, Ironcrown, Tornadus, Flutter Mane Chi-Yu, right? This is the new 222 team. This is the Clover 222 team. All right, we'll call it that for whatever reason, right? If someone used this already, let me know in the comments. I need to know who you are, and I need you to relinquish copyrights. Okay, anyway. So let's go ahead and do some EV spreads. So here I just went, just about 220 investment. At least I wanted to outspeed Lander's Choice Scarf. So that was important. Again, the physical Landers is what I mean. So I just went with a little bit of speed creeping. Of course, at the end of the day, I went max special attack here, just to get as much value out of it as I can. And then from here, just dump the rest, leftovers in defense and HP. That was okay. Max modest. Well, again, I was just testing and starting this, and it ended up being really, really good so far. I may adjust this later, maybe just give this thing a little bit more bulk because, 100 defense, 108 speed F, pretty good bulk. Maybe I can EV this to survive some stuff, maybe make this even a little bit slower. But for the purposes of testing, when I was using it, this was actually really, really good. Indeedee, I went with Bold Nature. Again, still a relatively physical meta. 176 for the optimal berry recovery, max in terms of defense, and then just round out the special attacks, the special defense and speed over here. The Tornadus here. So the main thing that I've been doing with Tornadus is just timid nature with about 84 speed, and the whole idea with this was just to be able to outspeed Iron Bundle booster energy. They hit 309. I wanted to hit 310, which is what this is, but I wanted to speed creep. So I went here, right? Because 155 times 2 is 310. So, 156 will just speed creep whatever is going for that speed tier as well. I still wanted to keep some good bulk here. So I still went with my 212, 196 idea. This is good enough to survive, Choice Scarf, Urshifu, Surging Strikes. You're not Bold Nature anymore. So you can't quite fully live the Mystic Water stuff, right? But you can at least live the Choice Scarf, Surging Strikes, right? So that's still pretty good. And you still live Dragonite E-Speed, right? Boosted by Chen Pao with the Choice Band. So there's the benefit there if you can't afford to burn your Terrestrialization immediately, right? So Urshifu here, Adamant, right here. I still go for 44 and 4, right? This is enough to survive Dragonite E-Speed. And I go to the second benchmark here, second EV bump here in attack. And again, I ask this in every single video. If you're trying to play competitive Pokemon and you're trying to get better at team building, and you don't know what EV bumps are, make sure you comment in the video below asking what are EV bumps, because they're a very fundamental aspect to understand in trying to build competitive teams. And if you don't know what EV bumps are, be honest and ask. I'll always reply. I'll always tell you what they are, because if you need to understand how to make these things, right? So these are the benchmarks. But again, the whole idea is that when you move the slider, you're increasing your stat by 1 point, but there's 3 distinct points within this 252 bar where the stat actually increases by 2 points instead of 1, but that's only in the natured stat. So for example, right here, I'll start with 0. I have no investment in my attack. As I move the slider like this, you can see the attack of Urshifu go up by 1, but there's going to come a point where the attack actually goes up by 2 points. And here it is, right here. You went from 174 to 176. What the heck happened to 175? This is what we call the EV bump. So that's the first one right here. Then the rule is after 80 EVs after the first bump, right? That's where you get the next bump, and that's where you see the third bump. So what's 80 EVs after 76? 156. So let's take a look at that right here. So you can see I went from 185 to 187. You skipped the 186. So this is the second benchmark. Then another 80 EVs, you get to 236 right here. This is the second benchmark. You go from 196 to 198, right? So, when you're first starting to create your teams and you want to first get stuff ready on ladder for testing purposes, just go for your benchmarks, go for your bumps. And then after you test things and you want to go for a little bit more survivability or whatnot, then you can adjust your EV spreads. But at least go for your benchmarks in the early get-go. So I went right here to 187. Then after that, 212, right? This is still pretty good. This is still good enough for outspeeding, Landers, if they don't have the Choice Scarf idea. So, it's still fine, if you're able to just remove that. But I still went with this. This is still like a very standard set. And then I just went with special defense, and just stuff like this. This is okay for our purposes for Urshifu. Icy Wind is going to be huge in terms of neutralizing that Choice Scarf. So that was also the idea there. We already did Tornadus. Urshifu here is already done. Flutter Mane. So I just wanted to be able to outspeed the modest Flutter Manes. They hit 187. Let's go to 189. I just think it makes sense. Then after that, I still go for my super bulky Flutter Mane set. I go from 116, 196. This is good enough for surviving Chien-Pao Adamant Nature stuff. And again, if you ever want to check your damage calcs, just go on Pokemon Damage Calculator like this website, and you'll see, this is exactly how you're able to survive things or even pick up key KOs. Then after that, I just went straight 60 EVs. This was just left over. Choice specs Flutter Mane. Again, with a ton of bulk, you're doing a ton of damage already. You have a Chi-Yu here. You don't need so much special attack, right? You have the benefit of, again, Chi-Yu along with your specs. So let's opt for more bulk here, just to be able to stay on the field a little bit longer, right? Chi-Yu here, Sash, this is the easiest book. This is the easiest EV spread in the book is what I meant to say. Timid, okay, this is pretty good. Straight 252 set, right? And that's the team. And what I do want to show you is just a couple of calcs here, with Terra Blast, especially the Incineroar calc. I feel like that's always going to be good to show you. So if I go Modest Nature with Terra Blast, Terra Water, first of all, this picks up against Landers, by the way. So 105 to 124 set, even if they have a bulkier Landers, this is still like picking up, which is actually really, really good. Now for Incineroar, I'm going to show you the difference between the Impish Incineroars and the Careful Incineroars. They're going to go 236. They always have like a little bit of a berry idea. And you can see, look at this, 179 to 94. So right now, Terra Blast, Terra Water does not pick up, which is fine. But you always have access to Helping Hand, which is the main idea with the Indeedee. And now you can pick up the Incineroars if they are in fact Impish Nature, all right? So if they do go for like the second benchmark there, and then they just go with like the remainders into something like Spidef like this, then you are still picking them up. Okay, like, oh wait, let me just go like 100, like for example, right? If they want to just round out their attack and speed, yeah, you're still picking up if they are Impish. But if they're Careful, right, then that changes things a little bit. Let's go 100 here, let's go 156 here for the benchmark here. This is gonna live Landers, Incarnate, Earth Power stuff. So now all of a sudden it is a bit of a roll, but that gives you a little bit more valuable information just in terms of like what kind of set they have. If they are Careful Nature, Terra Blast, Terra Water, with Helping Hand. So that's going to be good as well. Now again, I like even like this actually doesn't even matter in the grand scheme. Actually, it does matter. Never mind. I forgot to give this thing the boost energy. Still fine. Still okay. So actually, we do pick up, right? So without Helping Hand, what do I have here? Okay, so it'll just still do like pretty good damage. So now I just put Helping Hand here. All right. So never mind. We're picking this up. So that's good. At first I thought like, wait a minute, I don't pick up, and then I realized, wait, booster energy. Okay. So there's the idea. So again, this is a pretty good starting point. A very, very aggressive team, just in terms of what we're trying to do with Ironcrown and then Flutter Mane Chi-Yu stuff, of course. And again, Indeedee in the back on switching is huge against priority stuff, which is completely rampant still. You added Entei, which is another priority users in the format. So we have things for Entei especially, right? And even with the Assault Vest, Expanding Force is still going to do like a ton of damage here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some battles, trying out this team from myself and then also from our viewer. All right, so this way you get a sense of how to play this team. All right, this one's pretty typical standard Hyper Offensive with Tornadus and Landorus and Entei. And there's Iron Boulder. So I see no Dark type, I see no Incineroar. I see nothing stopping Psyspam over here. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Here's Ironcrown. Here's the Indeedee. How does he break it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Here's Tornadus, Flutter Mane. That's not enough. So we're gonna protect the Ironcrown here. We're just gonna keep spamming Expanding Force here. He brings in Entei. That's not gonna be wanting to take Expanding Force. So he does go for Taunt. I don't know what he's doing in Cyclic Terrain, but there it is. Expanding Force does a ton of damage there. Entei takes over half. So it's easy. So there's Tailwind, but again, Sacred Fire, that even with the crit, that's not picking up Indeedee. So goodbye Entei, goodbye Tornadus. 2 down. Again, we have Tornadus and Urshifu in the back. So here's Iron Boulder and here's Flutter Mane. It's over, right? We have Torn Urshi. Even if he removes the Indeedee, Ironcrown is still just going for all these kills. He had no respect to Psyspam in this sense. All right, here's another one. So again, I'm looking for Incineroar. I'm looking for Rillaboom to change terrain. I don't see any of it. I don't see Tornadus. It's over. Just like the other game, it's over. 2-3 turns at most, maybe. So again, just lead the Psyspam stuff. Bring in Tornadus and one sweeper in the back. I think I chose Flutter Mane for this. But anyway, here we go. Indeedee and Ironcrown. Like, what is this really doing? So I just went straight up like Expanding Force, Helping Hand, because I don't think Metagross can actually kill me here. So, he actually going for coaching. That's pretty funny. I do respect that attempt, but here we go. Expanding Force. That did already like more. Oh yes, Explosion Metagross. That was actually kind of funny. He did wipe out the Indeedee, but look, I go into Tornadus. He goes into Ogerpon and he goes into Primarina. That's still fine. Look again, Tailwind. All right, Expanding Force. Outspeed the Ogerpon. Does a ton of damage. All right, it goes for Ivy Cudgel. That's still fine. And look, Primarina, again, Ice Beam, still fine. We're chilling because now we bring in Flutter Mane. Guess what we click? All right, Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam is over. Goodbye. Game, set, and match. The spam is too much. All right, here's the matchup, right? Latias, King Gambit teams. That's the 6 that, you know, people are using a lot. And, you know, again, Flutter Mane Chi-Yu just puts on a ton of pressure against teams like this. Okay, so look at this. So here we go. Chi-Yu, and here's Flutter Mane. What does he do? Does he lead Incin? And even if he does, we Terra Blast, Moonblast it. So he goes Latias, King Gambit. That's exactly the lead I was looking for. Look at this. No Terra. You already know what that means. Sucker Punch. That does nothing. All right. That's why we Terra Fairy. Boom. Latias. Ton of damage. Does live. Right. He didn't go for Tailwind, which because he's probably careful natured. That's why he lived that move from me, which means that's it. Heat Wave. It's done. He's already down 2 mons again after turn 1. Flutter Mane, Ogerpon. That's still okay. Again, he has speed bait natured Flutter, so he could have easily outsped my Flutter, but he clicked Protect. Okay, I'm not sure why he did that. Okay, look at that. Dazzling Gleam is a ton of pressure. He could have killed my Flutter Mane and then bopped my Chi-Yu on the head, if anything, right? But I had a Sash Chi-Yu anyway. I was going for Snarl, so I was technically fine because now Ironcrown is just going to come in here and finish the game off. All right, I have Indeedee in the back if I need to, but he can't actually beat the Ironcrown. Again, so, like, what does he really do? Like, he goes for the Chi-Yu instead, which is, I guess, fine. But then we just go for Tack and Cutter, remove the Flutter Mane here, which is what I was going for. And, you know, I was forcing him to try to redirect. He didn't even do it. And Indeedee comes in. You already know what happens here. Here's Ivy Cudgel. Not enough. Berry Recovery. Ironcrown clicks Expanding Force. GG's. Another 4-turn match. Latios, done. Another Latias team. So now this one is our viewer, right? Testing this comp, right? And if you want to know who this is, feel free to DM me on Discord. This is a very good player, by the way. I'm not going to say who this is, but he was using our team. He's the guy that went 17-1 on this. But again, lots of different ways you can play this. Again, Latias thing. Look, Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane lead. That's exactly the way we instructed it. Incineroar and Raging Bolt. That's not going to do anything, all right? So all you're going to do, he's not going to pick out Flutter Mane here. So Terra Fairy is safe. Terra Fairy, Raging Bolt, that's totally fine. Moonblast, one-shots, Incin Choice Specs. I've never seen Incin get one-shot like, well, I have. You know, of course, Sword and Shield. Thunderbolt crit, still not enough to beat our Flutter Mane. We're super bulky here. All right, Thunderclap, again, he's -1. Not going to do a whole lot. Moonblast, still not being able to pick up. Even if he crit there, we had a Sash. Snarl, just crippling the Raging Bolt. Now it's -2. Flutter Mane is -1. Ironcrown is poised to do the job that it needs to do. All right, he goes into Ogerpon. That's not going to do anything because we go into Indeedee. Guess what comes next? You heard it. You know it. Expanding Force spam. Okay, Raging Bolt. Psh, -2 Thunderbolt. That does nothing. Follow me yet again. Expanding Force. It's over. We outsped everything. That Ogerpon was way too slow. And now he just clicks the forfeit. Latios solved. Oh, man. You need King Gambit on that team. I'm so sorry. All right, how about Archaludon Rain? He has both Pelipper and Tornadus. You very rarely see that, but I do respect it. But again, you know, okay, he's definitely going to bring the Rillaboom. That's the only way he has a shot at, like, removing the Psychic Terrain. So I expect, like, Archaludon plus one of these Rain users, like, you know, Pelipper or Tornadus, along with Rillaboom, and then something else. Maybe the Urshifu just because it's a Dark type. So we'll see. But he leads Tornadus plus the Archaludon. Okay, pretty standard Rain lead. And then we go Chi-Yu and Flutter Mane. Also very, very much correct. So lots of options here. I think Snarl is correct either way from the Chi-Yu. I just don't know what he does with the Flutter Mane here. It's Rain Dance. That's expected. Moonblast. Okay, so there we go. That did a lot. Okay, and Snarl does not pick up the Archaludon. Oh, that's a huge live. Okay, so and he just goes for Electro Shot. He gets a special attack boost. Goes into the Chi-Yu, but again, not enough there. So we were sashed regardless. There's a Tailwind finally. All right, he goes for Body Press. That's fine. All right, but again, Moonblast is just enough to remove the Tornadus here. And, you know, the Archaludon alive is still, like, totally fine because we outspeed it anyway. Indeedee here. So, again, he has Tailwind, which this is actually a smart play from him. I remember this game. So he goes for Sincere Storm, okay? He doesn't click Follow Me. There is the Electro Shot. It does go into the Flutter, which is, I guess, fine. But look what ends up happening. Trick Room to flip the Tailwind. All right, and now you just go Ironcrown, and guess what happens? All right, now if he has Rillaboom, this is the time to switch it, which is exactly what he does. So he saved it in the back, which is good play from him. All right, that's still a lot of damage into Rillaboom, right? And he misses the Draco. That was never killing anyway. All right, but now look at all his Pokemon. They're all low health. Indeedee's still here. Fake out into Ironcrown, I guess, is okay. But again, now we just pick up with the Dazzling Gleam with the Indeedee because we're slower, right? Which means we're faster in Trick Room. All right, and we have the advantage here now. There's not a whole lot he can do. We still have Trick Room. Ironcrown's definitely slower than a lot of these things. Again, Rillaboom is still there, but like, look at this. He does do double protect, but that's not really helping him. That's actually more or less helping us, just because we have a little bit more health to stay alive. But again, helping hand. He tries to go for the double, I guess. You have to go for it. That's your best play. Wood Hammer, a ton of damage, almost kills himself. But Expanding Force just runs through the Landers there. And at this point, it's pretty much over. You already know what happens next, right? I don't think I need to play this match anymore. All right, how about this one? One more. Another Tailwind team with Farigiraf here. So, again, the mirror, that just poised for like Indeedee Trick Room stuff if you decide to go for it. Chanpao, Urshifu are, of course, threat here, just because they're two dark types. But again, as long as you position your Indeedee well, I think you're going to be totally fine. So let's see what he does. We go with Chi-Yu, Flutter Mane yet again. Such a strong lead, even in Regulation F. You saw it a bunch of games already. Tornadus, Flutter Mane. Okay, so he's definitely going to have the speed advantage, but he can't actually KO here just because we have two Pokemon here with good special defenses, and we have a Sash Chi-Yu here. So there's the Dazzling Gleam, ton of damage. All right, but again, it's only one attack. So now we go for D-Gleam, and now we go for Snarl. And we pick up the Tornadus, which is huge. And now the Flutter Mane is at -1, right? Well, technically back to neutral. So everything should go down here. He has Tailwind. Okay, so this is okay. You might think this is bad, but look what ends up happening, okay? So our Flutter Mane goes down. Now we get free switches into the back. Guess what comes into the back? Psyspam, ready to sweep, okay? It's over. It's over, right? And this is where you see the benefit of Terra Water. There it is, Terra Water. Okay, let's go ahead and go for that Trick Room. You know he was getting greedy trying to go for the Ironcrown here. Okay, we are going to survive this. Again, it's -1, so that's the benefit there. That's why Snarl was so good. Goodbye, Ursh. Goodbye, Flutter. He's down to 1-1. We have the Trick Room up. So you already know Chanpao was in the back. He can't click anything. Okay, it's pretty much done. We just click Tachyon Cutter. The Sash is irrelevant because we hit twice. And that's it. Another 4-turn game. All right, folks, there's the pace yet again. There's the team. It's a pretty good starting point, honestly. You saw a bunch of games. You saw the power of Flutter Mane Chi-Yu. You know what Indeedee Ironcrown can do now. Tornadus, of course, is going to be good. We didn't even bring the Urshifu, in all honesty. That's just there, just in certain games where we have to bring it against stuff like Incineroar necessarily. But again, you saw that, Toy Specs, Terra Fairy, Flutter Mane with Chi-Yu on the field can actually just one-shot that thing, depending on their sets. But again, just having these flexible leads, and again, the 2-2-2 variant is strong with this team. All right, so let me know what you think of this squad, and if you try it out, of course, let us know. Don't forget to join the Discord. And again, if you're interested in building a team for yourself and you need something for the upcoming regionals, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you that one-on-one session with me where we get to build a team from scratch just like this. I show you how to do all of our EV spreads. And then from there, we get you the team that you need to be able to compete, whether it be the regional or an online ranked ladder tournament, or just like something for ladder simply, right? So whatever it is you need, we got you covered on the channel. Just make sure you get that tier 3 sub going, and then just message me, and then we'll plan out a common time where we can meet and discuss things, to get you what you need. All right, but that's going to do it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.